What up, Buttercups? This is episode 20 of the Corporate Gamer Podcast. This is being recorded on July 22nd, 2017. Mac Gaming in a PC world. Hope that everybody had a great week. Sorry for that intro. Maybe I might have had either a beer or two before recording this, which is all good. Um, so yeah, I hope everybody had a great week. I know that mine started a little bit rough, considering that I apparently tried to bring the term cleaning my phone to a whole new level by putting it in the laundry. So I had to get a new phone this week. But other than that, I think it's been a good week, and I didn't play that many games this week. I actually got two of them in the mail. I got Super Bases Loaded 2 for the Super NES and NHL 96 on the Super NES as well. I'm hoping to stream probably those two games later tonight when this is recorded. So once this is done, I'll probably jump on Twitch and start playing that. And other than that, it's been a pretty quiet week. So let's get right into the stories of the week. Starting with story number one, Casey Hudson back at BioWare. So for those who don't know who Casey Hudson was or is, he was the director of the Mass Effect trilogy, and after I believe it was 17 years, I believe, or something yeah. So after 17 years, he decided to leave BioWare, and he went to work, I believe, for Microsoft on the HoloLens project. And this week it was announced, earlier in the week, it was announced that the general manager Aaron Flynn will step down and Casey Hudson will take over. A lot of people have speculated the timing of this. I think personally, the negative press from Mass Effect Andromeda, even though a lot of people that actually have played the game have liked it, I think the negative press really, really did it some harm. And in all honesty, I think BioWare kind of needed to shake something up in order to make sure that it's being, it shows as if it's being addressed. And I think obviously as a general manager, he's not going to be hands-on as he was with as a program director. But Mass Effect is his baby, and I'm assuming that he'll have his 2 cents put into that for sure. Is it a good move? Is it not? To me, it doesn't make a difference, to be honest. But I think that negative press goes a long way. And I'll take myself as an example. I've never been a huge Mass Effect fan. I did like the first game, but I'm not like a die-hard fan. And when this was announced, I figured, with all the hype and everything around it, so I figured, you know what, I might pick it up. Maybe not at full price, but when it goes down in price, I'll probably pick it up. And then the game came out, and there was a lot of negative press, gaming features, glitches, bugs, crashes. So they fixed the majority of those, and I think that most players that have played it have liked it. But I think that the negative press just did too much damage, and it was too little, too late, and somebody kind of had to pay for that. I mean, it's similar situation as if you look at a sports team, you put in a lot of money and effort to get a big team, a big powerful team, and then you whimper out. Either you don't make the playoffs or you bow out very quickly in the playoffs. Something has to be made. Usually it's the coach. Usually the same thing. I think something had to be done, and I think that it's good for BioWare. They're getting back an old friend. I believe I heard a quote from Casey Hudson. I believe, I don't remember where I saw it or where I heard it. I think it was Podcast Unlocked, where he said that it felt like he was returning home. So I think there's it can only look up from here. And I do wish everyone in the story great luck, and we'll see how the story unfolds. But yeah, so Aaron Flynn stepping down and Casey Hudson taking over as GM, General Manager of BioWare. Next on the list, I actually found this pretty out of nowhere. Um, I had gone. I think somebody on my friends list or something along those lines is going to this. It's an actually NES concert from l'Orchestre Avant Musique des Films. Um, Basically, it seems like it's an orchestra that does music scores and stuff like that. In this case, they're doing it for the Super NES. Sorry, the NES. My bad. And they're going to be playing scores and variations of of theme songs or songs within games from Kirby, Contra, Kid Icarus. Wow. Castlevania versus Mega Man, Final Fantasy versus Zelda, Tetris, Super Mario, and Metroid. And it's listed as being about an hour and a half. So that should be pretty cool. I already went to one last year similar to this. It was for they were playing it was all Montreal studios that were Quebec studios, sorry, that were there. So Ubisoft and so on. And there was I went there specifically to hear the score from Deus Ex Human Revolution, but there were a whole slew, Batman Arkham Asylum and so on. So that was really really cool. And yeah, I asked my wife if she wanted to come, and she's like, "Yeah, it sounds really good, and it's not far from my house." So yeah, I am actually looking at where it is. It's at Salle Marguerite Bourgeois, 1750 Rue Soriol Est, Montreal. I'll put details in the description of where you can get tickets, and they're not that expensive. You have three tiers. You can buy either tickets for $10, 20, or 30. And I got the $30 because I really, it's not that expensive. And yeah, I like to support local things, and this I think is really cool. And since I'm a big video game fan, I think that it's worth the shot. So they're not paying me to say this. I'm literally just a fan, and I like these the the theme songs and the music within these games. I think some of the best video game music is from the NES and from the Atari. So yeah, so I'll put the everything in the show notes, and see if you guys feel free to support these guys. All right, that's done for that. Next bit of information, which I was really excited about. Batman Telltale series season 2 being announced. Um, Basically, I believe it's going to be with the Riddler. 5 episodes. It's going to be released. Um, I actually did not write it down, which is stupid of me. Let me check. 1 second. It's sometime in September, I believe. Uh, yeah, I don't have the date with me. I'll put the date in the show notes for sure. The article that leads to it. But yeah, I really loved the first season of Batman. It was really cool. It was well done. It was one. I know that everybody's fed up of hearing those, the backstory and so on. But it was done in a way that wasn't too horrible. Um, I think it's really worth it. Um, Even to play the season one, if you can go play season one. It was actually free at one point on Xbox Live, so I'm assuming at one point this will be as well, like every other Telltale series that's out there. Walking Dead had a few episodes for free or a few seasons for free. So yeah, this is sounds really really cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. The writing was really good. I love the animation. And this is focusing on the Riddler, which is a little surprising. I figured it would probably be the Joker. At least I heard that it was going to be the Riddler from the screenshots that I saw. But maybe it'll include the Riddler as well. The first one was with Two Face, but we also saw a bit of the Joker as well, and amongst a bunch of other characters that made it really really worthwhile. And I think it's a really good series. So this is gonna be available. So let me check. I really I really want to say the date of when this is gonna be available, because releases in August. August 8th for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And then with iOS and Android versions coming later in 2017. So yeah, and that was announced at Comic Con this week. This week, since it's happening in San Diego this week. So they were announcing that. So pretty quickly, it's 2-3 weeks away. So it's gonna be called Batman: The Enemy Within, and yeah. So there's gonna be an confirmed appearance for the Riddler. Joe Dill return. So the Joker will also be there as well. So yeah, seems to be really cool. So yeah, Telltale series Batman Season 2. Next on the list, I saw this flying through my Twitter feed at one point. Apparently, somebody beat Fallout Anthology within 2 hours, which is insane. Um, Seriously, Fallout itself takes me like one particular game takes me like 6 months to do, because I don't just sit down doing it. This guy managed to play it in 1 hour and 37 minutes and 54 seconds, which is insane. Um, so a lot of people have been complaining about this and wondering, because I think he utilized some of the glitches within the game to move forward and do it quickly. And some people were debating: is this really cheating? Did he cheat? Did he not? My thought process on that is, if you're actually putting a cheat code into a game, or you're actively trying to hack the game, that's a cheat. So, example, if you're playing Doom and you're playing on God mode, that's a cheat. You're cheating. I'm not saying I like to play with God mode personally. It's fun, but it's cheating. I would never consider myself being, beating the game properly if I cheated through it, right? So that's how I think. If he utilizes glitches within the game and it's something that's there they've never fixed and it's part of the original game, for me that's not cheating, and I think that he found out a way of doing it as quickly as possible. I'm not a big fan of speedruns myself. I watch them from time to time for like old school platformers like Mega Man and Mario Brothers and so on. But to play these long games, speed running through those, it's pretty insane. Um, and he did this using the Fallout Anthology, which includes Fallout 4, which is pretty impressive. Um, so yeah, a lot of people were complaining about the cheating and what that, and seeing if it's a valid, speed run and blah blah blah. I think it's valid. I think it's gonna stay. I don't think he cheated in any way. He just used what's in the game, and that's it. So yeah, that's it. So Fallout Anthology beaten in under 2 hours. That's insane. I can't even beat some games within like an hour, or what, old school games. This is insane. Really, really bad. Like, wow, it boggles my mind. All right. So, this is a topic. Next story is one topic that I've spoken to about again in the past, numerous times. But it seems that every time there's a bit of information on this, everybody goes gaga over, the new Atari box, the new Atari coming out, and um, I've seen this on, in this case, I saw it on comicbook.com, but there were a couple of stories floating around from other sources as well. Um, so yeah, so after 24 years, Atari box is being revealed. They showed the box. Looks actually looks pretty slick. Doesn't look that bad at all. Um, there's very little information on it. Um, I know some people are going gag, and I actually went on a forum, or actually no, it wasn't a forum. It was on Facebook. I think it was on Game Rant or something like that, and somebody was saying, oh, they were super excited about it. I'm like, other than the concept of being Atari releasing hardware, how can you be excited for something? There's almost no information, and they're like, well, what are you talking about? And there's no information about the Atari box. There's very little information. Uh, you know, they're saying, okay, yeah, it's going to be wood grain. You'll be able to buy a few versions of it. So you'll be able to buy one with wood grain and so on. Uh, I think there's going to be four USB slots, four USB ports, an SD slot, and maybe an HDMI port, which makes sense. You'll have a wood edition and a black and red edition. Um, and that's it. Um, Looks okay. Form factor seems to be fine. But again, we haven't actually seen this. This has only been in videos, and I'm very skeptical. Um, Thanks to the Coleco Chameleon, that was very disappointing to say the least. So, I'm saying this again, and I don't know if anybody has an answer to this, but I don't know who this console is for, because they're saying that it's going to be able to play old games and that there's going to be new games getting released for it. What does that mean, though? Yes, there's probably going to be an emulator of some sort where you'll be able to play old games, or at least have networking so you can download those old games, which I could understand. But these new games, what are they? Brand new games that are not being released on Xbox and PlayStation? Are they homebrews? Is it geared to an indie market? I actually don't know who this is geared for, and so far we don't have pricing either. So, I mean, how much would you pay for this? I think anything above 200 would probably be killing it. But I don't know specifically what's inside the box, so I wouldn't know if that's a valid price point, or if that's, too little or too much. Um, so yeah, I'm really not sure about this, and I know that everybody jumps every time there's like a little piece of information, and that's what scares me too. They're saying they're taking it slow and we're doing it right, and we want to make it right. So when we release stuff, we're releasing it slow. That's fine. But at this point, it's beyond slow. It's like, here's a glimpse of a box. Here's a bit more information. Like you're kind of waving the carrot in front of to see what the reaction is. And from what I understand, from what I'm seeing online, it seems that a lot of people are excited for this. I just hope that people don't get burned. If and I really hope that they show this. Now I'm assuming they have what seems to be prototypes. I'm hoping this is going to be released prior to E3 next year. In terms of having people play with the hardware. I'm hoping that that would be the case. I I don't know how far they are in the project. It seems that they're pretty far. It looks a lot better than the Chameleon, that's for sure. But nobody's been able to see what's inside, what the hardware is going to be. It's just been little bits and pieces. So be warned. This is going to be released, but I don't think I just don't know if there's a market for this right now. The Atari community is very strong. It's very um, vibrant. A lot of people still love those old school consoles. For a lot of them, it's nostalgia reasons, but There's a new generation also that's discovering Atari as well, but I don't know if this is for them. And if it's anything higher than $200, I think they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot at a minimum. It can't be more expensive than the Switch. Obviously, it's probably not going to be as expensive anywhere close to an Xbox or a PlayStation 4. So we'll see. Obviously, as soon, when there's going to be more news, I will let you know, and we'll take it from there. All right, now, dun, dun, dun. Games, new game releases for that were released this week, from July 17th to tomorrow, July 23rd. All right, so. All right. Tuesday, July 18th. Unless you lived under a rock, you kind of knew this. Destiny 2 beta early access for the PS4. A lot of people are excited for that one. I did not play the first Destiny. I was kind of disappointed in it, and I don't know if I'm gonna buy Destiny 2 eventually if it comes to Xbox. I don't have a PS4, so we'll see. I guess I'll wait for the reviews to come out um, before I think of purchasing it. Um, Another game, Orcs Must Die Unchained for the PS4. 99 Vitas for the PS3, PS4 Vita with cross-buy. Archangel for the PSVR. Children of Zodiarcs for the PS4. Man, there's a shit ton of games we're getting released for the PS4. It's insane. Fallen Legion Flames of Rebellion for the Vita. Fallen Legion Sins of the Empire for the PS4. Robot Riot for the Hyper Edition for the PS4. Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles for the PC and PS4. That was for Tuesday. Wednesday, we have Destiny 2 beta early access for the Xbox One. Why it's a day later, I have no clue. Moon Hunters for the Xbox One. And What Remains on Edith Finch for the Xbox One. Thursday, we have Gigantic for the PC and Xbox One. Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy for Android and iOS. Lone Echo for the Oculus Rift. Galaxy Blaster for the Wii U. And Friday, finally, there's a first part, apparently a AAA game we're getting released for the Switch, and it is Splatoon 2. And then there's Destiny 2 open beta for the PS4 and Xbox One. What's the difference between that? Early access, sorry. So Friday was the actual day of the open beta. Super Hot for the PS4, Super Hot VR for the PSVR, and last but not least, Conga Master for the PS4. So those are the games getting released this week. I think Destiny 2 is the one that's going to be taking everybody's attention. Unfortunately, Splatoon 2 is getting released at the same time, but I don't think that really matters for Switch users, because obviously Destiny is not getting released on that console, or at least that's what they said. That's going to be the case. Yeah. So those are the games getting released for this week. All right, now on to the talking point of the week. As you heard on the topic of, or the title of this podcast, Mac Gaming in a PC World. I read this article on Ars Technica saying the state of Mac gaming. It was just talking about maybe, how, old machines, the state of Mac gaming in the past has been pretty bad. It's been improving slowly but surely, but I mean, nobody actually says when they're a gamer that they're gaming on a Mac. And I actually wanted to, talk about that a little bit because I primarily use a Mac for pretty much everything. I'm a Mac guy. It's a Mac household. I do have a PC. It's a little older one. I think it's 4 years old now, 5 years old. It's due for an upgrade. It's an i5 processor, which is atrociously slow at this point. Um, so I use my Mac pretty much for everything. So I stream on there. And I do play some games. Now, uh, the hardware for the Mac is not exactly, what people would usually use for gaming. I personally have right now, I'm using a MacBook Pro Retina 15-inch mid 2015 model. The processor is a 2.5 gigahertz Intel Core i7. My memory is 16 gigabytes at 1600 megahertz DDR3. Graphics card is an AMD Radeon R9 M370X 2048 megabytes. Intel Iris Pro at 1536 MB, so it's an integrated chip and also has a separated graphics card as well. It's done so that when you stream or you hook up an external, video capture card or whatever, it's more seamless as before. My old MacBook didn't have this, and it was chugging along. So yeah, it's not the top of the line, but it's not bad. I also have I dual boot with on the Mac um, as well. So I also have Windows on the same machine as well. So I can choose between booting into PC and Mac. I've been looking around. I have Steam installed. I have on both my Windows and my Mac. And I do, yes, it's true that if, the new games that come out, the big games that come out, most of the time they do not come on Mac at all. It's just the way it is. But there are games on the Mac that run really, really well. You can buy, on Steam, the library is getting longer and longer of Mac games. Um, GOG.com has a pretty good extensive Mac library, especially for old school games. Um, so it's growing more and more. Um, I'm still a little bit more of a console gamer, and I know it's blasphemy. PC gamers are like, "Meh, console sucks," and then you have console people, "Meh, PC is too expensive." Um, I see the advantage of both. I used to be a heavy PC gamer. No, back in until early 2000s, I used to make my own PCs. Buy the parts separately, and at the time, it used to actually cost a lot less if you did it yourself. But now with the prices, and you can go to a bunch of party sites or even stores here in Montreal where you can get a good gaming PC, and it's not like $5,000. Um, and even now, one of the big arguments is the Xbox One X. And if you wanted to have a 4K gaming rig built by yourself, it's going to be more expensive than what the price point is for the Xbox One S. So there's pros and cons to both. There's certain games, I think I mentioned this before in previous podcasts. Um, there's certain games that I think are better suited for computers. First person shooters are are probably, if you have somebody on the Xbox and somebody on PC will always win. That's for sure. That's a given. Um, Console is better for sports. It's better with a controller. It's better to play sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it, FIFA. Console is better. Detective games. So there's certain games um, that are on the Xbox that I downloaded for free for the free month, and they were detective games. It's point and click. I don't necessarily think that's great experience. Um, I used to love back in the day old games like Phantasmagoria or Police Quest, and those are PC games. They're more geared towards the PC, and they're easier to play on the PC. So there's pros and cons to both. And then you have those games that are released everywhere. You know, like the Halos eventually get released on PC. Destiny is going to be a PC game as well. Uh, and I think that it's just it's a preference thing at one point. It really depends on the type of game that you play more often. For me, I play sports games very often, even on my old consoles. My go-to is NHL 93, or even one of my favorite hockey games is actually a PC game. It was NHL Hockey, which on the consoles became NHL 93, but on PC it was NHL Hockey. And I to this day I still love playing that game. It's amazing. It's so fun. But I mean, hockey in general, hockey games are pretty much more of a console thing. Um, I actually recently downloaded SimCity 2000, which is an old game, and it played super well on my Mac. I can't say anything bad about it. It's it brought me back, and it was only like 250 or $3, something stupid. Why not, right? Steam and GOG have a way of getting you to purchase games that you would never think of purchasing just because it's so dirt cheap. But I ran into no issues at all. Um, when StarCraft 2 came out, I played it on my Mac that I had at the time, and it played super well. And I didn't have to dumb down all the graphics and so on. It played really, really well, and I had no qualms with it. It was really, really cool, and I played it for quite a while. I played it for a good 6 months straight. Um, so there is fun to be had. However, in general consensus, when you say I'm a PC gamer, Mac is usually not included in that. And it's a bit of a shame, but the Mac is more closed than the PC. So there's more, because there's more opportunities to expand on a game and stretch the technology than Mac, because Mac is very closed. You have a certain hardware and you have to abide by it. And also, to a point, Linux as well. Linux is starting to make a bit of a comeback in gaming. I'm not saying it's anywhere close to Mac or PC at this point, but I'm starting to see more and more Linux ports of other games as well. And if you're into, and in general, if you're into indie games, usually indie games run on pretty much anything because they want to get it on so many platforms, as many platforms as possible, so you're able to play. So a lot of Intel, a lot of indie games will get released on Mac, Windows, and Linux. So it really depends. There's a wide variety of games now that are out there, um, and I think Mac has a place in there. The hardware obviously doesn't advance as fast as PC, so that's what it has a knock for it for that. I have on my Mac right now. I play a few PC games. My general machine is my Xbox for gaming. I'll be honest. I don't care if the experience sucks or not. I just like the convenience of my Xbox. It's just the way it is. Um, but yeah, if I really wanted to game on a Mac, I could easily do it, and it's pretty good. So I can't complain. So that's my take on it. I think that Mac will, at least not for now, will not surpass anything in terms of a PC in terms of gaming and number of games. That I don't think will ever happen. But I still think that there is a niche for it, and there is a crowd for it. There are people that have Macs that would like to game, and nothing stops you of also dual booting with Boot Camp into Windows, and that's what I have on this machine now. Obviously, you won't be able to play the higher end games like Destiny and stuff like that for sure. It'll probably chug along, but you have a more variety of games, and there's a lot more to do for that. So it opens up the possibility of playing more games if that's the case. And I've liked my setup so far. I think it works well for me. I have the best of both worlds. For the AAA games, usually I have my Xbox for that. And for everything else, I have my PC. So I think Mac has its place. So that's it. Mac gaming in a PC world. That was my take on it. What do you guys think? Let me know. Am I out in left field somewhere? Have I? Am I a pro Mac guy in my statements? What do you guys think? Let me know. And yeah, so this week I didn't have a review on my Corporate Gamer website, but I did write for a roundtable. I wrote, so I've been doing a review for MacGyver, the original MacGyver. And this week I released reviews for season 5 to 7. So check it out on aroundtable.ca. And if you wanted to reach out to me, well, you can watch my streams on Twitch whenever I stream at twitch.tv/corporategamer9. Like me on Facebook at Corporate Gamer. On Twitter, I'm Corporate Gamer 9. Corporate Gamer on YouTube as well. Obviously, my website, corporategamer.net. Apparently, I don't know how to say my own site, which is very, very scary. And last but not least, I have 2 podcasts right now. This one, and in addition, a roundtable.ca podcast where we talk about music, video, movies, comics, you name it, various topics every week. So let me know. By the time you hear this, the next topic for Roundtable will probably be old stand-up versus new stand-up. So we evaluate and give our point of views on what's better, what's changed, and what we think about comedy going forward. So that's it, guys. Have a great week. Talk to you next week, and don't party too much, all right?